Hello, good afternoon and welcome back to Uddevalla in Sweden. Round 16 of the FIM Motocross World Championship with me, Paul Malin, and alongside me from Fly Racing, Jason Thomas. We are about an hour or so from Gothenburg, over on the southwest of the coast, and beautiful part of the world, and it is very much as it appears on screen. Just ask Jason, because his hotel is overlooking similar kind of views. And hopefully he's enjoying his hospitality here. A unique racetrack here at Uddevalla. The first time we came here was 1961. It was a Swede who won that day, riding a then-built Swedish Husqvarna 500. That was, of course, Sten Lundin. He's the only Swede and only Husqvarna winner around this Uddevalla racetrack. Doesn't look like we'll get a Swede winning this weekend. Could get a Husqvarna rider winning, though, this weekend, if that's the case. Anyway, we are just moments away from MXGP Race 1, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. That's where we are geographically. Look over on the bottom left, if you like. 24 degrees here on this hard-packed clay-based circuit. A little bit stony and rocky, and plenty of action to come here on MXGP TV. 1,620 meters long. Jason and I will talk about that in a moment, but before we go anywhere, before we got underway here, we had the flight show, which was a Saab, I don't know, like a Royal Air Force, Swedish Air Force plane, and it was something else, wasn't it, Jason Thomas?
It was pretty awesome. I was eating lunch when I heard this thing came over, and about maybe choking my food. It was so loud. But yeah, it was a different kind of jet than I'm used to. I live right by a military base, and yeah, it was impressive.
If Steve Mathis was here right now, Paul MX, what would you say to him?
I don't think he would be able to deny how awesome that was.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just wanted him to buzz the tower one time, and it would have been good.
Anyway, right, here's a look at JWR Yamaha.
When we started this in the GP, we were supposed to do the MX 250 class, European, but then, you know, we look at the riders, and then we find the riders like Kevin and Seva, and suddenly we had it. Yeah, why don't we go for MXGP team? I mean, it's a dream come true. What can go wrong? We just do it. I think I'm a little too nice, because I do this with my heart, not like I run my other company, because that guy you don't want to have here.
All my family and friends are going to be here, and it's such a nice feeling to race in front of your home crowd, and this is a place I know quite well. I rode a Swedish championship here when I rode 85, so I won both motos, and I feel good on this place.
My story of coming into motocross was very fun for me, actually. They explained me where the throttle is, but it didn't tell me where the brakes are. One of a sudden he said me to open a little bit more throttle. So I just went on my own, and then I saw a big hole, but I didn't know where the brakes are, so I fell into that.
The most of the difference between MX2 and MXGP is all the guys are so fast. It's like everybody's consistent and everybody rides so fast, and yeah, in the MX2 it's a little bit more difference on speed. I think it's a little bit more gap between the guys, and in MXGP it's so close all the time, and everybody's just pushing all the race.
Yeah, I have the same age as Tony, just, you know, he had 9 world titles, I have none. I had a lot more injuries. It sucks, you know, but then in the beginning it's hard, but then after a few weeks, you know, when things goes better again, then yeah, then you find again your passion to ride or to run or to cycle, and then yeah, then you can't wait to jump on the bike again.
I've been to the podium, and I know what it takes, and I know I have it, because I've been after already a few times very close to it, and it just kind of didn't come all together to make it happen. Main struggle for me was not to just jump on a 450, but come back from the 2 really huge injuries I had in the past 2 years, and put myself in a position when I can battle with the top guys again, and build up the confidence, and that was the main goal this year.
It's always good to be back in the Belgium team, you know. It's the biggest race actually of the year, and always looking forward to it. I think we still have a good team for the podium. Maybe I'm not the fastest rider anymore. I can still ride good in a sense. We have a good team, and hopefully we will be on the podium.
one of our satellite teams there, JWR Yamaha. Doing a good job, and always good to have fresh sort of teams in the paddock. Anyway, a few moments ago, Lisa was down on the grid. She caught up with Ivo Monticelli, standing construct KTM, not riding, and Jordi Tixier, VHR KTM.
So guys, it's official. We have our 2019 MX2 World Champion crowned in Jorge Prado. But we still have 3 more races to go, so don't go anywhere. We want to speak to Jordi Tixier, MXGP. Firstly, just tell us about your season, really. I haven't really spoken to you much this year, and it would be nice just to have a catch-up and see how everything's going.
You know, my season has been tough. You know, it's just building up. You know, every race we start the season with a new team, you know, with Team VHR. Everything is going really well, but... you know, we started with the 450 KTM, and yeah, actually we wasn't ready in Argentina. So our goal was just to improve every races in the GPs, and it's actually what we are doing. You know, actually the spin is getting better. I'm pretty close for the top 10 every races now. So yeah, just keep going, and it's gonna be better for 2020.
Absolutely, and like you said, you're building up, you're close to the top 10. I think you were 10th P10 yesterday in qualifying. You are building, slowly but surely you are getting there, and it's good to end the year that way.
Yeah, sure, you know, and the level is really high, you know. We are not factory teams, so actually we just have a standard bike with some nice part on it for sure, but, you know, it's not a factory bike. So actually battling with some top guys, it's pretty good. So yesterday was 11th place. For sure the result is not so good, but the pace was good and the speed also. I was battling with some top guys. So it's my goal, and hopefully to do the same today.
Thanks for talking to us. Best of luck. Thanks, Jordi. Okay, the second rider on the grid I'd like to talk to is Ivo Monticelli, mainly because, Ivo, you're not in your gear, you're not racing. Tough day yesterday. Just tell us what's happened.
Yeah, yesterday I just tried to ride because I don't feel really good all the week because I crashed in Imola and have big contusion in the head, but still want to ride. So we just try, but we see already from the free practice I'm not good. I don't see really good. Also the focus is not good, so it's better to break a little bit. Also next week I don't gonna ride. I decide with the team and try to come back more strong than before in Turkey.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Thankfully, after this weekend, we do have a weekend off. Turkey, then China. I guess that's the plan, is to do those 2 races.
Yeah, the plan is to do these 2 races and try to do my best in these 2 races, but now I'm not 100%, so we decide like this. I'm also nervous because I cannot ride. I don't like to watch, but it's the best things now to do it.
Well, speedy recovery. Thanks, Ivo. All right, unlucky there for Ivo Monticelli, but we've still got a race to go. MXGP Race 1.
Just saw a bike go past our screen there, number 85. Didn't recognise that number, not seen it for a while. Is he a wild card this weekend? Jason Thomas, number 84.
84, yeah, it doesn't ring a bell. How did he do yesterday?
I don't know. We'll catch up on the MXGP qualifying race highlights shortly, but let's take a look at the championship standings before we go anywhere, though. After 15 rounds, with 3 to go, here's how it looks in MXGP. Tim Geiser, of course, already crowned world champion a week ago in Imola, so 664 points cannot be caught. Jeremy Seewer is second. Crucially for him, he's got 41 points over Gauthier Paulin. Tonus is 21 points further back, and then Glenn Koldenoff, 20 adrift of the Swiss rider, and he was victorious at 1-1 in Imola. And of course, he was looking good yesterday. We'll see the qualifying highlights now. And yeah, back to that number 84 guy.
Never heard of him, but I'm interested to see how this goes.
So Gauthier Paulin on board with the GoPro, but this first corner from Jeffrey Hurlings just kept it nailed all the way around the outside and swept past everybody, including his ex-teammate Glenn Koldenoff. Febvre was quickly into 3rd. Geiser was in 4th, ahead of Jonas and Seewer. A little bit further back, one of the just one, JWR Yamahas. It wasn't Anton Gold because that was him right ahead. Brilyakov, though, almost cleaning up his teammate on the number 18 machine. Jeffrey Hurlings crossed the line, though, to lead from Koldenoff and Febvre as this race started to take shape. And the number 84, who made a return to racing in Russia and then was back on the sofa almost immediately, having crashed out in Latvia, and won he won the qualifying race and the first race with a broken ankle. Good to see him back up there. But the question was, Jason Thomas, how long he could stay up there for, because Koldenhoff, Evra, Geiser, they were all pushing, weren't they?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that effort is going to play into today. I know he wanted to win. I just wonder if that took more out of him than he maybe would have liked. But yeah, he was only gone 8 weeks. The problem is he wasn't 100%, I don't think, when he came back where he was injured the first time. So could be a long day. I see Geiser and Febvre here battling it out. But I don't think any of these guys were excited to see Jeffrey Hurlings winning already yesterday.
Febvre fell. We didn't see that in the live yesterday. So he lost a couple of positions there, and Jonas was able to capitalize on that into 4th. Febvre eventually came home in 5th position. Arno Tonas and Jeremy Seewer, though, they continued to fight over 6th and 7th. But this was the battle for 2nd in the latter stages of the race. And then for the lead, as 3 guys went at it: Hurlings, Koldenhoff and Geiser. Sun was low late on in the afternoon. Probably get the same scenario today as well. You see those shadows. So that'll be something in race 2 to look forward to. But one look over his shoulder as he dropped downhill for the final time. Number 84, Jeffrey Hurlings, with his 2nd qualifying race win. Geiser decided to take up surfing, but it's no good on a motocross bike in the final turn here in Uddevalla. He came home in 3rd behind Koldenhoff. And we'll see the rest of the lineup in just a few moments' time. Top 5 in the championship then look like this. Geiser, already champion, got 9 wins. Koldenhoff over on there in 5th. Look, he's closing in on the guys ahead of him, and he picked up his first win since 2015 last week in Imola.
Yeah, huge effort in Imola, huge effort yesterday. He's finding his form here. See what he's got today.
Riders already been out on their sighting lap. How unique is this?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Great views from up there. When you see the sun drop behind the other hill is when the track's going to get difficult, but what a unique backdrop.
Anyway, here's how the riders line up then for MXGP race 1 and 2 later on this afternoon. Jeffrey Hurlings on pole for the 2nd time this year. He's only done 3 qualifying races. That's got to be hard for him, but
yeah,
he's going to be looking forward to the Motocross Nations later on in the year. Glenn Koldenhoff 2nd, Geiser, Jonas, Febvre, Seewer, Tonas and Jassikonis. He's got some fans here this weekend. Van Horbik and Gauthier Paulin, Tixier. Tommy Searle and Sean Simpson are going to be lining up, maybe not necessarily together, but they go to the line 12th and 13th. And then we've got Brilikov, Anton Gol looking for a decent result here on home soil.
What are we to expect from Hurlings today? He's going to be sore from the effort yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know. He did complain about arm pump immediately after the race,
yep.
Which is expected because, as we said in the qualifying race yesterday, Jason Thomas from Fly Racing, you can ride during the week, you can do your motos, but there is no substitute for gate drop, the nerves and anticipation before that anxiety, and then having that push with other guys around you and, you know, pushing to stay ahead of them.
Well, it's just impossible to replicate the intensity, too. He can go practice and put in the motos and put in the laps, but yeah, it's a different deal when you have Tim Geiser and Koldenhoff and these guys coming from behind. So I'm really curious. I honestly have no idea how he'll respond today. If he went out and won both motos, I would be just as surprised as if he has a difficult day after such an effort yesterday. I think it's a complete crapshoot as to what today brings.
Just saw Romain Febvre there, of course. Not got a bad record around here. He won here in 2015. He was 2nd here last time he came here in 2017. Jeremy Seewer, also a winner here. Been on the podium twice, both those in MX2. Didn't come here last year, so going to be a new experience for some riders. Arno Tonas, never been on the podium. Of course, he spent a couple of years in the US after his MX2 career, but you'd think these kind of hard slick conditions might just favour him, though.
Yeah, very Swiss type soil, but everything's going to be in the start. We saw yesterday how difficult it was to move forward. The Yamahas have been great on the start lately, so we'll see what this Fly Racing 15-second board brings.
Well, as you just mentioned, right on cue, that Fly Racing 15-second board is up. It'll quickly turn to 5. Jeffrey Hurlings over on the far gate, closest to our camera. Who will it be that grabs that foxhole shot? Tony Cairoli has 8. Can Geiser equal that? He currently sits on 7, and he gets a good jump. But it looks like Hurlings. And it is Hurlings who just edges out Seewer. Well, this is what the fans would love to see, isn't it? Hurlings up front, Geiser in 2nd, the new world champion. Koldenhoff alongside them from 3rd to 2nd, though, immediately on this opening lap. So who's there in 4th place? Is it Jonas? I think it is, yeah.
It's almost exactly the same situation we had yesterday, eh?
Fevra in 5th. Paul 6th. Anton Gold is 7th. So a good start for the Swedish rider. Tonus 8th. Searle 9. Jessiconis in 10. Simpson, Lupino, Van Horebeke, Tixier, Strybos in 15. Briljikov 16. Hakan Mindrabo from Norway in 17. Peter Petrov 18. Jonathan Bengtsson 19. Misha Dual is in 20th place. Jeremy Seewer 26th position. So not a good start for Seewer. But it's Herlings who leads. Geiser 2nd, Koldenhoff 3rd, Fevra in 4th.
Saw Geiser follow Koldenhoff almost the entire race yesterday. Makes a move on the opening lap. You know, that's big here. It's been really difficult to pass.
But it's Herlings who leads. Been MIA lately for the last couple of months or so. Had no expectations, he said, coming into this one. But Jeremy Seewer fell. I'm not sure if that was on the first corner. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. Just down here. Right. Did see somebody just disappear there. Wasn't sure who it was, but Seewer then not making the best of that good start. A lot of work to do for the two-time visitor of a podium here in Uddevalla. But it's Herlings who leads then. Not the first lap, because we need to hit the finish line twice. Geiser. Wow, this is tasty already. New world champion behind a 4-time world champ. Last year's MXGP champ.
Yeah, I think Geiser's going to try to be aggressive here. I do not think he wants to follow Jeffrey for 30 minutes. I think he's going to be trying to make a move quickly, and then if he can put a gap into Jeffrey, that would be ideal. You can see he's got a little bit of pace right now. Much different effort level than yesterday, it seems.
And how much confidence is he bringing as well? The 243, you know, having, you know, got a GP wins, world title, race wins, everything, you know, everything's clicking for him at the moment. Herlings just wants to get through the first couple of laps here, I feel.
Well, and mentally, Tim believes this is his series. He was the dominant world champion this year. You know, injuries happen. That's part of racing, but he wants to go up and show Jeffrey, like, hey, this is the pace. You know, I won a world championship for a reason, whether you were here or not. So yeah, it's maybe Jeffrey's a bit vulnerable right now, but I don't think Tim really cares about, you know, Jeffrey's condition. He wants to go win. This is the first time he's been able to race pressure-free as well with the championship clinched.
Dropping downhill. Herlings, Geiser starting to pull clear from Koldenhoff, but that is a menacing sight, that Honda 450, the HRC machine of Tim Geiser. Looks like he can pretty much put it where he wants to.
Yeah, he's taking whatever line he wants and going just as fast, which is a pretty positive sign. But for Jeffrey, he understands the situation. He's mentioned multiple times that he has no expectation. So if Geiser goes by, I think you're going to see Jeffrey just try to figure out where he's going and go with him.
I know it was only qualifying yesterday, but for Herlings to win that 20-minute +2, everyone talking about how people raise their game in the winter, you know, with Geiser, with Kai Rowland and other people. Yet when you see Jeffrey off the bike and do what he did yesterday, there's an argument that actually nobody did improve, potentially. Because he comes in after 8 weeks off and a 2 or 3 week spell where he'd been off since December, January. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like everyone stayed still and he's where he was when he left off at the end of last year.
I think you could argue that other than Geiser. Geiser was finding his groove when Cairoli kind of exited the series with injury. I think Tim is actually much better.
Oh, goes down.
Right on cue.
Slick patch.
Yeah.
Threw it away when he was chasing his title last week, and he does the same again whilst chasing the 84, trying to apply some pressure on him.
Well, that's kind of been the one issue we've seen. If there is a rider that can make him push the pace, he has a tendency to fall. He did it when Cairoli was pushing the pace early in the season, and we just see it with Jeffrey here already.
So Geiser out of second. Hands that advantage to Koldenhoff, who's now going to have his hands full with the 461 of Roman Fevra. But how much of a gift is that to our race leader at the moment? Now he's got a bit of breathing space to the tune of about 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, you wonder if he even knows yet. He can definitely hear that there's no one back there anymore, but it's kind of difficult to tell exactly what's going on behind you a lot of times. But he's definitely going to enjoy that silence that comes when somebody falls behind you.
It would take the pressure off, won't it? Certainly. You're not having to second guess where the other guy's coming from, inside, outside, alongside you.
Yeah, and Roman definitely sees an opportunity here as well.
Just on the slick. Wasn't precise with the line there.
Yeah, it's difficult to see there. He's so close to Jeffrey's rear wheel. He can't exactly see where he's putting his front wheel and just loses traction.
I love that as well from the mechanics there. You know, despite winning the championship, they still want to win.
Well, and he's just behind Febvre here, so long moto to go. Nothing's completely lost yet.
Febvre lost the front end there coming through the first corner as well, just as he dropped down. Lucky to stay up on 2 wheels. Watch this. Pay attention, that front end there. Just lost it. He caught his foot somewhere, and then probably didn't look as bad second time around, more of a twitch than anything else. But anyway, still there in third on the back of Koldenhoff. Herlings leads. It was 2 seconds. They hit the line a moment ago, but it's not that now. Koldenhoff, Febvre, Geiser. They're all going to be joined together pretty soon. They've got Paul Jonas behind them in 5th, Paul 6th, Tonas 7, Anton Gol, fantastic ride for the JWR Yamaha rider in 8th, Jasikonis 9, Van Horebik 10, Searle 11, Simpson 12, Strybos 13, Lupino, Tixier, Seawer up to 16th, having fallen on the first lap. He's just found his way past Brilyakov. Misha Boydewal is 18, up to 19th now. Tom Koch on the Sarholz KTM, and Anthony Rodriguez, Hutton Metals Yamaha, is in 20th position, ahead of Petar Petrov on the North Europe KTM. Here's Paul and Tonas, the 2 teammates. These 2 fighting over 6th place. Paul, of course, been on the podium 4 times. All of those were 3rd place finishes. 3 times in MX2, once in MXGP in 2017 when we were here last. Of course, a member, quite an integral member of Team France for the Nations.
Thanks for that.
That's all right.
Horrible members of Team France celebrating for the past, feels like 20 years.
Yeah, 5 in a row. More on that as we get closer to it. In fact, we're just going to do a whole show, I think. Our whole studio show in China should be on the upcoming Motocross Nations.
I'll bring the Kleenex.
Yeah. And the pictures from 2011 and pre-2011. Right, Herlings leads, but it's Roman Febvre, Tim Geiser, who's the fastest rider on track. Fastest lap, a 50.3. Febvre was a 50.7. Koldenhoff, his fastest lap was a 50.4. Herlings starting to slow, a 51.2, so I'm not sure if that's a mistake or the dreaded arm pump starting to creep in, but Geiser looks menacing again, doesn't he? Closing in on Roman Febvre on the Monster Energy Yamaha. And good to see Jonas going with him as well on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna in 5th.
Yeah, we've got the makings of a great moto here. I don't think Jeffrey's going to be able to run away. I just don't see that happening. So I think Geiser's going to bring the pace back up and bunch these guys up, and then, yeah, who knows what's going to happen at that point.
Actually, you know what? Racetrack conditions not too dissimilar now to what they were yesterday. Hard, slick, loose, just that wave section not as soggy.
You know, it looks really deceiving because some sections of the track, like right here, if you're in the rut,
nice.
you can press. But if you get out of the rut, you get into the slippery spot, you have to be so patient. So it's almost corner to corner how aggressive you can be. Like here, you have to be really patient in the corner.
Jasikonis dropping back there. He's been passed by Van Horebik and Searle. Searle put a nice pass around the outside whilst the Lithuanian was going for a secure line on the inside. Searle went for a little bit of a lighter patch. Didn't look like there was any kind of line there. This was Van Horebik already passed, but then watch Searle in the next left-hander, sorry. Just finds the line, gets on the gas early, closes the door on Jasikonis. So the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider just struggling for traction, it would appear at the moment.
Spoke with Tommy for a bit last night and just was saying how great that the KRC Kawasaki Monster Energy their bike is, and thankfully it's for the opportunity. Interested to see where his future takes him next year, but I know he's enjoying having such a great bike to ride right now.
Yeah, it's nice. There's obviously talk that he might not return to the World Championship next year, but hopefully he can. But even if it is, you know, his final year in MXGP, then of course going out on a factory Kawasaki Monster Energy one at that, not a bad way to bow out.
Well, and you look at the career for him, coming to America and racing over here and his Motocross of Nations. He's had so many great rides in the Motocross of Nations. His legacy is cemented, so we'll have to see him out here having a great ride, though, towards the end of the season anyway.
Yeah. So Herlings still about a second clear of Koldenhoff, Febvre. There is the JWR Yamaha. Anton Gol 287. He's got Van Horebeke behind him. So this is for 8th place. In the team report, I think I heard him say that got some good memories of this place. One of them being like when he first went 1-1 in the Swedish Championship hit. So lives about 40 minutes away from here, close to Gothenburg. So a place he knows well. And I'm not sure if you've ever ridden a USGP as Koldenhoff closing in on fellow countryman Jeffrey Hurlings. Did you ever ride a USGP?
I did. Budds Creek in '98 I rode, and had guys that I'd never heard of almost blow my side panels off. They went by me so fast.
But were you nervous in that instance, or not really, or was it just all about the learning experience?
No, I wasn't nervous. It was the weekend after the Nationals ended, so
nice
move there. So it was just I'd actually ridden the 125 championship that year, and it was a 250 USGP, so it was more just fun than anything.
Right, let's get back to this then, because obviously just trying to get some idea as to how Anton Gold's feeling with, you know, sort of riding 8th at the moment in his home round, but Koldenhoff, no time for sentiment here, and this is almost a bit Redbud, isn't it? Fastest man on the planet was Hurlings, but it was Koldenhoff who took all the glory that day with a 1-1 in the Nations, and here he is closing down on him again, but he is riding on so much confidence at the moment, Glenn Koldenhoff, on that standing construct KTM.
Well, you just sense that he understands he needs to go. I think Hurlings is holding the pace just a tiny bit, and coming off of the 1-1 in Italy, he knows he can win, but he cannot wait on Hurlings here at all, because Febvre and Geiser both will be on his rear wheel in no time.
Back end getting a little bit loose through the waves there. He did well to keep it in line. Koldenhoff.
Jeffrey's just so smart, though. He knows where the passes are likely, and he knows where to block.
So Hurlings here. Closing the door. Back end.
Yeah, you just see him steer to the inside to block the momentum. I mean, he has so much experience. There are sections where you can pass, and there are sections you can't, and he's very aware of where those are.
All of a sudden, space of half a lap, you've got Koldenhoff was all over the back of Jeffrey, and they dropped Roman, and now it's the other way. Koldenhoff's made 1 or 2 mistakes and is fallen into the clutches of the French former world champion Romain Febvre, and all of a sudden, that momentum has shifted in favour of Hurlings, who's now got a bit of a gap like he had when Geiser made a mistake, and it's Koldenhoff who's under pressure now.
Yeah, that's why it's so critical to make the move when you get to somebody. If you wait around, you just give the people behind you an opportunity. So yeah, it's going to yo-yo like this, I believe. I just don't see Jeffrey with the pace to pull away, so I think he's going to try to fight off all the battles just like he did yesterday, and slowly watch these minutes tick off.
Tommy Searle down the inside of Anton Gold, so he's been passed by 2 people, Van Horebeke and Searle now. Searle on that number 100 Monster Energy Kawasaki. Still a good ride though from Anton Gold.
Quietly, Paul's Jonas here. He's only 4 seconds. He's just behind Geiser. He's having a great ride here as well for what could be considered kind of a home race.
Well, Gold, 25th in the championship, obviously didn't go to Argentina, has missed the last, 4 rounds. He was in Italy after that 4-week break, but a 13th in race 2, Germany, has been his best, or his highlight of the season so far. He got a 15th and a 13th there, actually, Germany. Anton Gold, 13th overall, and it was tonsillitis that kept him sidelined. So, obviously, not, I guess, something pleasant to be riding.
Doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Look at Jonas here.
Yeah,
I really thought the Geiser would be pushing the pace and already be in the mix here, but yeah, they're all kind of matching each other, and it seems like one guy will make a mistake, drop back, then there's pressure, and great race though. I think maybe they're all pacing themselves a bit. We're not even halfway yet, so.
Yeah, 15.5 plus 2 to go, and yeah, Jonas, I think we said it a couple of laps ago, good to see that he was hanging on to that group of riders, and he's still there.
Yeah, he was bouncing off the top of the time boards yesterday, so you know he had pace. He can see the lead, which is always a bit comforting. But you just wonder, as the time clicks off, are they going to ramp up the intensity as they start to see the minutes come down?
Oh, Febvre, we saw that a few times yesterday. Back end's getting a little bit loose and misbehaving towards the end of pit lane.
I wonder if they can see those bumps there in the shadow.
That's what I mean. It's we're going to see that as the day goes on. You know, the light will shift around to that side of the hill as we look from here later on. So there will be, you know, 1 or 2 things for the riders to pay attention to in that respect. But yeah, nothing worse than going from light into shade and catching those braking bumps at the end of the straight.
It's just what it looks like. It doesn't look like he's prepared for the bump, almost like you can't see it, and then you see that hop all around. Generally, they would be able to accommodate for that.
Yeah. So Fevre under attack in third from Geiser and Jonas. Jonas fancies his chances here, you know. Antti Pirinen will be up in pit lane as well, team manager for that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna squad. Well, and back end getting... we said those waves were a little bit better this week today than they were yesterday, but they're still causing problems, even for the best in the world.
You wouldn't have known watching Geiser there, but Jonas looks racy here.
Watch this, back end just catching an edge. Oof. You know what, anyone else would have been out the side door there, but just goes to show how strong he is. All right, 14 minutes plus 2 to go. The newcomer to the championship, Jeffrey Hurlings, is leading by 1.5 seconds. Kodenhoff is second on his standing construct KTM. Third is Roman Fevre. Fourth, Tim Geiser, Team HRC. And the second rider in shot here on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, number 41, Paul Jonas, is fifth. 5 seconds further back, we've got Gauthier Paulin and Arno Tonas on the Wilvo, Monster Energy Wilvo Yamahas. And then Van Horbik for Honda Moto Blues, SR Moto Blues. Then Searle. Tixier, 911. Whoa! Goes surfing into that corner. That's horrible. You know, when you just on the front end for so long and you think you can save it. So Tixier out of 13. Not what he wanted, as he was making progress towards the top 10.
And just like that, now you see Geiser pushing the pace up to Fevre because he was feeling the pressure from behind from Jonas.
As a world champion, though, you want to win a race again, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. With her, all of the headlines for the past 3 days have been about Jeffrey Hurlings almost stealing the spotlight from his championship. So I don't think he wants to take any of that. He would love to walk out of here with an overall win. So we saw one mistake, right? He was pushing the pace already.
So Siwa onto the back of Anton Gold. These two fighting over 12th place. All the noise around this place for the 297, the local boy. Privateer Yamaha versus full factory Yamaha. And Jeremy Siwa, somebody who's having a fantastic season as well. He's had a good string of success. He's second in championship at the moment, 5 podiums.
See him square back under right here.
Nope. Anton Gold. Ridden for different teams. He's been on TM briefly. JK Racing Yamaha is now at JWR. His MXGP season. Siwa will be kicking himself as well. Was decent in qualifying race yesterday, 6th. Started there, finished there. Looked like he was just comfortable just to let it happen. 1.2 seconds, the gap coming down. There's a Suzuki out there. It's not your practice bike, is it?
Just out there kicking it.
It's Panagotis Kouzis. Having some fun. It's a long way from home, though, is the Greek. Right, Geiser picked himself up whilst challenging for second. He's down in 4th. He's lost the toe again to Roman Fevre, despite setting his personal best lap last time around, a 50.06. But Fevre has definitely got the bit between his teeth again. Strybos and Jasikonis. Jasikonis struggling here today. Strybos up to 10th now with that pass on the big man. It's turning out to be a good GP for JWR. You've got Strybos in 10th, Anton Gold in 13th.
For those of you keeping score at home, we're 20 minutes in, and yeah, Jeffrey Hurlings is still winning.
He's a machine, isn't he?
Yeah, and you wonder, it's impossible to ever know or get an honest answer, but how he's feeling. Is he like, man, I don't feel that great. I'm just doing the best I can as far as his pace right now? Because he hasn't ridden very much. I mean, this was a complete surprise on Thursday when they announced he was racing.
Yeah, he obviously felt he needed races under his belt rather than just time on the bike. as he prepares for, you know, probably his biggest Motocross Nations Challenge. And again, maybe those bumps in the dark, in the shade there, just causing him one or two problems, just like it was with Febvre and so many other riders yesterday. But that is, again, let Glenn Koldenoff in for a possible attack. And again, he just locks up there. He's controlling the inside line, and Koldenoff's going to go through. We've got a new leader on lap 11, but it's still a Dutchman. So he just needs to regroup now. Simple move made from that came from a mistake from Jeffrey Hurlings at the end of pit lane, Jason Thomas.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised if Febvre doesn't make a move this lap. I think Jeffrey's given everything he had. He had a huge effort yesterday, making mistakes. Maybe not. Maybe he responds here, but it's going to be, I think, a long 8 minutes to finish out this moto.
Well, when he came back in Russia, he got a 4th and a 7th, and that was good enough for 4th overall. And he was happy with that for now, he said on his social post. Looked like he was going to rectify that in Latvia a week later with a qualifying win and a race win with a broken ankle. But he'll be kicking himself, really, after that mistake. Watch this here, just a few moments ago. Jeffrey Hurlings just came in and then just got kicked there, and he just buried it, and he had to stand himself up. And then 2 corners later, he tried to defend, but that jump downhill cost him. It would have been better just maybe closing the door on Glenn there.
Drift out to the outside there, leave him nowhere to go.
And now he's coming under attack from Febvre and Geiser. And I think it is a case of what you said a moment ago, Jason Thomas, what he put in yesterday. And just starting to feel the heat, feel the pressure. And a little game going on between himself and Febvre there. He knew he was there. Febvre all of a sudden wary about launching an attack, and that's played into the hands of Geiser. Right, up on the pegs. Coasting. Still doesn't want to give up though, does he? Arm pump, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a sitting target now, isn't he? He's going to go from 1st to 5th. I won't say there's nothing left in the tank, but when you've got arm pump like he had yesterday, then I would suggest, you know, he's in a bad situation in that respect.
Yeah, the problem for these guys is he's had virtually no bike time, no preparation time, and he just led all of these guys around for 23 minutes. What's that going to look like in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? That's the situation. Yeah, they're having their way with him now, but you know how quickly it comes back, right? He was gone for 8 weeks. I see an overall win within the next couple of rounds. I really do.
So watch this. Puts the foot down there just to stand himself up. Wasn't expecting that. And they're breaking free, as we probably expected. It was always going to be a case of how long can he hold it out there for. But Koldenoff, who was 2.3 seconds clear of Hurlings at the end of lap 11, made the pass just on this lap 12. He's going to be extending his lead because the number 84 did a good job of keeping everybody else at bay just for a little while longer to give Koldenoff a chance of disappearing. 150.9 for Koldenoff. Febvre at 50.8, so 3.1 seconds now the gap. Geiser 4.2 and Jonas 5.5 off the lead. Hurlings is about 4 seconds clear of Paulin, but Paulin was a 150.2. Hurlings a 55.8.
Yeah, Paulin was the fastest on track last lap, so this might slip away from Jeffrey before we know it, but just as he said, no expectations. Leading for 23 minutes in your first weekend back earlier than you planned on coming back it's okay. I think they'll take that and chalk it up as progress.
But that's the kind of intensity he needs to get ready for end of September.
Well, and his body's going to respond so quickly because he's had such a strong fitness base for so many years. Putting it through the paces like this, it's not going to take very long to find the extra 10 minutes that he needs right now.
Gauthier Paulin, the lead Monster Energy Wilvo Yamaha, his teammate behind him here, number 4. These two are in 6th and 7th. They look up the track and see the Red Bull KTM of number 84, Jeffrey Hurlings, just getting bigger and bigger as he comes into view in that 5th place. Van Horbik in 8th place for Honda SR Motor Blues. Tommy Searle, Monster Energy Kawasaki, 9th, and Kevin Strybos, JWR Yamaha, they are your top 10. Seawer now up into 11th. He set his fastest lap last time around at 50.4, and he's only just over a second down on Strybos, so you would sense that Seawer is going to knock on the door and climb into the top 10 any moment now.
These last few laps are going to feel like an eternity for Herlings. You know he's battling his own ego here as far as not wanting to go further back, but everything, his injury, his fitness, all his muscles are screaming at him. Arms probably are locked.
Yeah, shaking the left arm.
Yeah, take his hand off the bars there. He probably can't feel anything. He can't use the clutch very well.
And when you think of arm pump, for those who've never had it, take a big, 1.5 litre bottle of water or something like that, turn it on your side and just grip it with your hand. That's how fat the handlebar feels when you have arm pump, and you're trying to hang on to that.
Yeah, and you have no dexterity. You can't use the clutch correctly. You can't use the brake correctly.
Paul stalls, lets his teammate through. And Van Horebeke. And he's trying to find neutral before it fires up. Is that a downfall of electric starts? Not just just across the board on all bikes. You need to maybe be in neutral for them to fire back up.
Yeah, I think that's what Suzuki's thinking. They don't want to take any chances with that. Just go with the reliable Kickstarter there. But no, it's funny though. You see issues. We saw Blandrin, the same thing. Had a really tough time getting going again. It's a little bit puzzling in the same exact section. I really think those guys can't see very well. I think the bumps are catching them out, catching them off guard, and putting them into positions they're not ready for. They're just a weird deal.
So a moment ago, we saw Paulin in 6th when he stalled his engine, and then we've now got his teammate, Arno Tonis, climbing all over the back of Jeffrey Herlings. This is for 5th place. And we saw him shaking his hands. He came over the finish line jump a moment ago, number 84, didn't we? The left hand. And obviously, can't be easy. Well, I know what it's like riding with arm pump. You do as well.
Oh, yeah. Every time I ride these days, that's all I have.
Is that after one lap or just warming the bike up on the stand?
Usually on my way to the track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Van Horebeke looking menacing as well in the background. The guy's been on the podium twice in MXGP. Yeah, into complete darkness there. And at the speed they're going as well, the eyes aren't reacting as quick as they should be as you approach those braking bumps that you can't see.
Yeah, there's a track in America, Washougal, that's notorious for that. It's really shaded, big trees, and you go in and out of complete darkness. Not the most comforting feeling in the world. It's a really fast track. So
we used to have a track like that on the calendar called Namur in Belgium, where we also went down tarmac streets and cobbled streets and up the side of castle walls and in and out of the trees as well. Tree roots all through the ground.
Well, you didn't have to one-up me, but that is a great story.
Was it? Oh, and Herlings goes down and takes Tonis with him. Tonis almost breathes just an unbelievable sigh there as well, but Herlings was just doing his best to hold on. There's a little bit of smoke in there as well. Twisted metal, scrap metal, and he's busted his radiator as well, look. So the Yamaha of Arno Tonis, that's not going to go much further because he was just leaking fluid all over the place. Watch this here. Simple mistake from Jeffrey Herlings.
Just loses the front.
Just got away from him and he just, Van Horebeke will say thank you very much, but watch when Tonis picks his bike up, there was fluid just leaking out of the side of that machine, and he'll probably be aware of that.
Herlings is exhausted. Understandably so.
Got to start somewhere.
Yep.
It's that whole thing, isn't it, of he needs to be careful here, because Tonis, he'll get it.
He has no idea, unfortunately.
No idea, exactly. Yeah, it's already smoking.
Yeah.
The team will probably see that on the screens that we're watching as well, and probably just call him in, because he must he lost a fair amount of fluid there.
Yeah,
he's either split the pipe or
I think he just popped the hose off.
Disappointment for the number 4. And those two, where were they? 7th and 8th. Jeffrey Herlings just cruising now. Not the fairy tale return to action for the number 84. But this one's self-inflicted. Looks like he's going to come in and park it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the first plane home, actually. Just say, right, that was my marker. Come back in Turkey 2 weeks' time. We'll soon find out. In a couple hours' time.
Successful return, all things considered, though.
Yeah. Tommy Searle in 7th position. Been a good ride through for him. And Jeremy Seawer, who was down on the first lap, turn 2. Maybe it was back brake, he's saying, Ben. Coming in. So 84, Jeffrey Hurlings retires. Not the first time we've seen him out of a Swedish Grand Prix here. Collarbone and finger, and here's Seawer out on the outside, making a move on Searle for that 7th place. Still a good effort from Tommy Searle, though.
Yeah, well inside the top 10. Got a little help there. That's all right. It's part of it.
Got his best result of the season, didn't he, a week ago in Italy, 6th overall. Ah, bonjour. Monsieur Fevre is taking up climbing. And he's all over the back of Coldenhoff here as they battle for the lead. 1.2 seconds now. Coldenhoff looking at making it 3 race wins in a row. Of course, he won 2 in Italy last week. Maintaining that kind of form here in Sweden on an equally hard-packed surface.
Funny business, this racing. Never really know. Just one thing changes and guys find confidence, and all of a sudden on his way to three race wins in a row. Not even on really the surface that you would expect it on. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but he's riding incredibly well. I mean, this is the form we saw him on last October before his big injury in the offseason.
Can he hang on, though? Just over a lap to go. Fevre pushing. Fevre got a race win here last time we were here in 17. Those Yamahas have a very distinct tone, don't they, in this 450 class, just like Geiser's Honda.
Yeah.
His is deep and throaty. These things almost sound like 250s.
Right. Yeah. I don't like Fevre's chances here. It's been so difficult to pass all weekend. Unless Coldenhoff has nothing left in the tank here, Fevre's going to have to pull something out heroically to find a way around. Yeah, but Coldenhoff doesn't look so great either, though. He's wavering a bit in the corners, so Fevre's body English is quite a bit better, body language.
Both been pushing, though. They've dropped Geiser to the tune of about 2.5, 3 seconds. Entering the final lap. You know what? Fevre's going to fancy his chances here. 1.2 as they hit the line a lap ago. We enter the final lap now, and it's just over a second. Awkward part of the racetrack. Nice line there, though, from Fevre, just utilising the bank, almost climbing the bank at the end of the straight there and dropping in, taking a slightly wider sweep.
You just wonder if he has an idea of a place to pass. That's the thing we've seen all weekend, is you've almost had to set passes up. I just don't know if he has something up his sleeve or an area. First, he's got to get close enough. Then he has to have an idea of where he can make a move.
Yeah, a bit of a look from Coldenhoff there as they hit that tabletop. But Fevre, as you said, Jason Thomas, Fly Racing, A, it's having an idea where you want to pass, but B, you have to be close enough to execute it. And it might be into this next left-hander. He could go to the inside. Well, they both do. They've been going high and wide. So Coldenhoff then, sensing the danger. Tricky part of that racetrack, deep ruts through those waves. Carrying good speed up there as well, 3rd gear.
Glenn protecting everything. And Roman closed the gap, that was the big thing, but yeah, unless he can really force the issue, Glenn's going to go inside base virtually everywhere.
Well,
except for right there. Except for right there, of course, I would have had to mention that.
Still not done. Remember Covington and Seawer 2017 MX2, the run down towards the finish line. And Fevre will be mindful of that as well, choosing different lines here. Are we going to see a similar kind of finish in MXGP Race 1? Coldenhoff still hanging on at the moment.
Fevre's going to blitz this outside line. Just don't know if he's got enough time.
Tries to climb up the inside. Is he going to jump long on the final downhill just here? He's got to go for broke. He does go long, but Coldenhoff kind of comes across, and Fevre, the door was closed in his face, and it's Coldenhoff who goes on and wins. And even though Fevre backed off, he still won just by 1.07 seconds. Geiser cruises home in 3rd place. Good job, guys. But it's Coldenhoff, standing construct KTM, 3 wins in a row. All of a sudden, they're like buses, these things, aren't they? You wait years for them to arrive. 3 come along at once.
Incredible. Little mystified as to Geiser drop off there at the end. I thought he'd be right in the mix at the end, but yeah, Moto2 maybe.
Our FIM race director there doing his best Saturday Night Fever moves, just telling the riders where to go. But anyway, here's Lisa Leyland. She is with our 3-time race winner, Mr. Glenn Coldenhoff of Standing Construct KTM. Just let him remove his helmet. And he'll have a bit of a clean-up as well. Probably a little bit messy around the foam pit. But anyway, Coldenhoff, the winner of MXGP Race 1. And here he is, getting ready to talk to Miss Leyland.
Glenn Coldenhoff, congratulations. 3 race wins in a row now for you. They're like buses, they come around like that. Good job holding on at the end there when Febvre was on your back wheel, and fantastic pass on Jeffrey when he made his mistake.
Yeah, you know, Jeffrey was behind me or in front of me in the beginning, and it's really difficult to pass here. And I felt like Febvre was a little bit faster in the end and got a bit nervous, but made it to the finish, so happy with another win.
Good luck for the second race.
I need Lisa Leyland to work on new material because, you know, clearly
that was theft.
It was
plain and simple.
But Glenn Coldenhoff, Standing Construct KTM, fought his way through, and he made the best of that good start as well. But 3 race wins in a row now, 2 in Italy, in Imola, 1 here in Sweden, and that just keeps getting better and better. He's starting to peak at the right time. He wins race 1 here in Sweden. Official confirmation then coming up for MXGP Race 1, and it was Glenn Coldenhoff on the Standing Construct KTM, Febvre Monster Energy Yamaha, Geiser HRC, Jonas Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, Van Hoorbeek Honda, SR Motor Blues 5th in the end. Paulan for Monster Energy Volvo Yamaha, Siwa, Searle Monster Energy Kawasaki, Strybos 9 for JWR, they'll like that, Yamaha, Jessiconis, Lupino, Gavin Van Venrooy, Tonus, Anton Goals, Simpson for RFX KTM powered by PAR Homes, Misha Boy Dewal on the metals, Yamaha head of Brilikov, Tixier, Petrov, Rodriguez and Tanolio. Championship looks like this. Siwa stays second, Paulan third, no change apart from Jonas now into 8th. And Van Hoorbeek up to 9th because inevitable in the end, really, wasn't it? Cairoli was going to lose ground in the latter stages of the championship. Right, let's take out all the action from MXGP, or just the highlights, shall we? MXGP Race 1 went a little like this. A newcomer to the championship, number 84, found himself leading Jason Thomas. Did he grab the foxhole shot, though? We'll find out in a moment, but it was Febvre, Siwa that got pushed wide. Febvre up into 4th. Siwa fell, though. If you look now, tagged the rear wheel of Gauthier Paulan, I think. But it was Herlings who led. Coldenhoff was second, Geiser was in 3rd. And then they all started to gang up on the returnee. Nice move that from Febvre on Jessiconis, on Jonas, and then Geiser went down. Lost a couple of positions, and you can see the mechanics weren't too impressed with that either. 2 Monster Energy Volvo Yamahas were battling sort of in around about 6th, 7th place. Jessiconis, though, was struggling. Eventually came home in 10th place, helped by 1 or 2 riders going down, people like Tixier, for instance, on the VHR KTM. Jessiconis continued to go backwards, but up front, all eyes on this battle here. Herlings, lap 12, lost the lead to Coldenhoff, and then quickly lost ground to the 461 of Febvre and Geiser and Jonas. And all of a sudden, he was down in 5th place. Possible arm pump up creeping into his game from as early as the gate drop.
Yeah, at least he was smart enough there to let everyone go. Didn't end up working out for him, but he knew it was time to move until this mistake.
Yeah, this mistake here took 2 riders out of the game, Herlings and Tonus. Tonus couldn't believe it. We saw a moment ago, before that, Gauthier Paulan stalling in 6th as Herlings retired from the race. A bent back brake, it looked like. Siwa found his way past Searle to move into 7th position. Last lap, last couple of corners, Febvre all over the back of Coldenhoff, but in the end it was the Standing Construct KTM that found his way over the line for his 3rd successive win in MXGP in 2019. Febvre 2nd, Geiser was 3rd. And that was it. Maybe we should take a look at the foxhole shot, shall we? It was pretty close, but was it Jeffrey Hurlings? Let's have a look. Wow, close. 84?
Yeah, why not?
You probably asked him to do it. Yeah, there you go. So Jeffrey Hurlings picks up his second black plate then. Cairoli has 8, Geis has 7, Tonus 4, Coldenhoff, Seewer have 3, Hurlings has 2, along with Roman Fevre and Julian Lieber. So quite a mixed bag of riders crossing the line first in MXGP. Well, they've had a great time. You enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, it's been amazing. We're going to get to check out the weather a little bit for ourselves. Man, this MXGP second moto should be fantastic. I think we're going to see more action from Prado in the MX2 class. But man, what a great day for racing. Track is treacherous, though.
Yeah, it is starting to beat up, and the wind's starting to pick up as well. That'll be difficult on the jumps in some places. But before we go, let's take a look at some of the best moments from that MXGP race. All right, Jason Thomas and I will be back in just over an hour's time. Make sure you rejoin us for MX2 Race 2 and MXGP Race 2 here from Uddevalla in Sweden. Thanks for watching for now. Bye for now.